Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel, Homeopathy Super Sessions by Dr. Jagos. Today I'll be doing the fourth chapter of Carol Dunham. This is the first part of primary and secondary symptoms of drugs as guidelines in determining the dose. So let us see whether the primary and the secondary symptoms help in determining the dose. For proper selection of the homeopathic remedy, the discrimination between the primary and secondary symptoms must be done accurately. So, in order to select the correct similimum, we have to do the discrimination between the primary and the secondary symptoms. Hence, let us first get acquainted with the definitions. So now let us see the definition of primary symptom and the secondary symptom. So basically the symptoms are called primary as they occur first in order. So whichever symptoms occur or come first, they are known as primary symptoms. And secondary symptoms are those which occur at a later period. Naturally, those symptoms which occur later on, they are known as secondary symptoms. Another way of looking at the definitions are as follows. Primary symptoms are of greater importance or significance than other symptoms. So in another definition, that primary symptoms are of much more greater importance or of significance as compared to the other symptoms, whereas secondary symptoms are of less importance or significance as compared to the primary symptoms which occur first. So hence primary symptoms are more important than secondary symptoms. Primary symptoms, they come up first, secondary symptoms come up later. Primary symptoms are more great importance and secondary symptoms are of less importance. Their distinction may be based on the consideration of time, of opposition in nature, or by rank. So the distinction can be made with the element of time, so at what time they occurred, or are they opposite in nature, or what is the intensity or the rank of the symptom. Hahnemann, in his essays entitled Suggestions for Ascertaining the Curative Power of Drugs, published in 1796, is of the following opinion. Most medicines have more than one action. The first is a direct action, which gradually changes into the second, called as indirect secondary action. So Dr. Hahnemann, in his essay, above mentioned essay here in 1796, he said that most medicines have more than one action. So he said the first one is a direct action, and the second one or the secondary action is exactly opposite of the first or the primary action. So this is another part of the definition. So in this chapter, you can see there are many aspects of the definition which are given, which I will summarize in part 2. There are a few exceptions to this rule. So regarding the secondary action is exactly opposite of the first or the primary action. With respect to that, there are few exceptions to this rule, especially for metals and minerals. Examples are opium when given in moderate doses produce an elevation of spirit, a sensation of strength and courage, which is a part of direct primary action of the drug. So when opium is given in moderate doses, naturally it will have an elevation of spirit and sensation of strength and courage. After 12 to 8 hours, the opposite state sets in. The indirect secondary action that ensures relaxation, dejection, fear, loss of memory, etc. Hahnemann further says that the simple drugs produce symptoms in a healthy individual which are peculiar to themselves. So Hahnemann says that the drugs are there and they exhibit symptoms in unhealthy individuals which are very peculiar to themselves. Not at all at one time. So these symptoms are not exhibited all at one time, nor in one at the same series, but perhaps later on as the day passes. So all the symptoms do not come on at the same time and in the same order, but as the day passes, slowly, the symptoms are exhibited. Certain drugs evoke some symptoms earlier, primary symptoms of the first order, and the others later, which are opposed and dissimilar to each other, and at times may be diametrically opposite secondary symptoms or of the second order. So therefore, he says certain drugs may evoke some symptoms earlier. So certain drugs give some symptoms earlier, And certain drugs also, after that, after giving these symptoms, that is the primary symptoms, you get the secondary symptoms or the second order symptoms in which you get a totally opposite action or a dissimilar action, which comes on afterwards. Hahnemann says that each individual drug has a peculiar and a definite period of action on the human body for a shorter or longer period. So as you all know, Hahnemann proved 99 drugs in his lifetime. And he said that each individual drug has an action either for a shorter or a longer period. When this period has passed, all the symptoms produced by the drug ceases together. So when this period has passed or when the time is over, all the symptoms will also cease. Thus, the effects of drugs which pass over a brief period of time and also disappear within a few hours are called primary symptoms. Here, another aspect of the definition of primary symptoms, they are which pass over a brief period of time and also disappear within a few hours are known as primary symptoms. After these, the secondary symptoms appear and quickly disappear within a few hours. However, Hahnemann has observed in some drugs the symptoms of the third order. Here, the effects consist of 2, 3, or more paroxysms comprising both the primary that is appearing first and the secondary symptom that is appearing later. So Hahnemann also had observed the symptoms of the third order, in which you get not only 1, 2, or even 3 or more paroxysms, and it comprises of both the primary and the secondary symptoms appearing first, secondary symptoms appearing later on. Hahnemann says that under the action of small or moderate doses, the symptoms of the first order come and less frequently of the second order. So as you all know, Dr. Hahnemann had a great experience of drug proving, and he said that, or he observed that when the drug was given in moderate doses, you get the symptoms of the first order and less frequently of the second order. Finally, Hahnemann speaks of the class of drugs which dominates a part of the body, which are the effects of very large doses and have more or less permanent alteration of the tissues, which include the fatal cases also. As an illustration, Hahnemann has made remarks on the symptomatology of several drugs mentioned in the Fragmenta, like aconite, chamomilla, and ignatia. So if you want to read more about it, you can definitely refer the book, page number 117 and page number 118. So Hahnemann in the Fragmenta, that is Fragmenta, the verb is Medicamentorum de Positivis, and Organon teaches us that symptoms which appear in series are opposed to each other or being diametrically opposite and occur first in order of time are called as primary symptoms. So again, in the Fragmenta and in the Organon, Dr. Hahnemann writes that the primary symptoms are those which appear in the series and are opposed to each other or being diametrically opposite. The subsequent symptoms which appear are known as the secondary symptoms. However, there can be some kind of symptoms in every proving where there can be no series of an opposite nature. Thus, it is seen that Hahnemann in his definition of primary and secondary symptoms blended the elements of time and causation. Thus, Hahnemann recognized that the symptoms from drug proving could be arranged into a series of primary and secondary and other symptoms which could not be arranged in such a category. So therefore, during drug proving, Dr. Hahnemann could arrange the symptoms into primary symptoms and secondary symptoms, and on the third category of the other symptoms which could not be arranged either or which did not fit in either into the primary or the secondary symptoms. Hahnemann tells us the primary or positive symptoms of drugs are those which we base our prescription on. So right in the beginning of the chapter, Carol Dunham tells us that the primary symptoms, they appear first and they are important in prescribing. Hahnemann recognized the occurrence of what we call alternate, opposed, or contradictory symptoms, which were not secondary in nature. So however, he does not tell us to recognize them from the secondary symptoms. So your Hahnemann also adds another set of symptoms known as alternate, opposed, or contradictory symptoms, but these are not secondary in nature. Examples given are the use of coffee produces gaiety, which is a primary symptom, and subsequent drowsiness and lassitude ensures, which are secondary symptoms. The sleep which follows opium is primary, and subsequent insomnia is a secondary symptom. So primary symptoms come first, secondary symptoms come second. The primary symptom is there, and the secondary symptom is totally diametrically opposite to the primary symptom. So therefore, the sleep which follows opium is primary, and subsequent insomnia is secondary symptom, and also constipation is a primary, and subsequent diarrhea is a secondary symptom. The purging of cathartics is a primary, and the subsequent constipation is a secondary symptom. So these are the examples he gives you of primary and the secondary symptoms. So that's all for today in this video. Part 2 will be coming soon. In this part 2, I'll be summarizing for you the different ways of how Dr. Henneman and Carol Dunham have defined primary and secondary symptoms. So initially, there may be a bit of a confusion because many definitions are there which come up. So please do stay tuned for more. Part 2 is coming soon. Thank you very much.